Hey everybody, Stephanie Brewer here from Kids First Education coming at you with a Math in a Minute. Well, today we're going to look at fluently add, subtract, multiply, and divide multi-digit decimals using the standard algorithm for each operation. Okay, remember that we're allowed to use a calculator in 6th grade. This is 6NS3. I have here 567 and 8/10 plus 4 and 23/100. Well, let's look at this problem vertically. Well, if I look at the problem vertically, I know if I'm adding or subtracting, I have to line up my decimals so that my place values are in the same place. So ones are matched with ones, tenths are matched with tenths. That's the reason for lining the decimals. Okay, so now I just add, just like I always would. I'm going to place my decimal because they're going to be in the exact place so that I can keep the place values aligned. All right, now we just add 3, and we know that 8 plus 2 is 10. I regrouped, so now 7 plus 4 plus 1 gives me 12, and I regrouped, that has 7 and 572 and 3/100. Now let's look at the calculator and see what answer it got. Yes. So we're on a roll. I'm going to skip subtraction because it works exactly the same way. We're going to move to multiplication. Let's look at 567 and 8/10 times 4 and 23/100. I have the calculator loaded there for you. So when I do this, I don't have to worry about lining up my place values because it's very different from multiplication. Okay, so now I'm not going to worry about where the decimal is at this point. I'm just going to multiply. Okay, so using the standard algorithm, 8 times 3 was 24. And when I regrouped, I had 21 with 2 more. That was 23. And when I grouped, I had 18 and 2 is 20. And when I regroup, I have 17. All right. Now I'm going to do 8 times 2, which is where you know is 8 times 20. So that's why it's moved over one space. So that is, I'm going to regroup that 1. So I have 15, 1, 13, 1, and 11. Now I know that that's not 11, and these numbers that I'm calling out, we're doing the standard algorithm, but always be very cognizant of place value. Now we have the last one, and I know that's 8 times 4, so that's 32. And remember, I moved one more place over, so, and I have, that'll be 31, 27, 22. Really cool. Now notice I didn't put any decimals in my answer because I want to have an explanation on why I have the decimals wherever I put them. Well, if you look at this, if I take tenths and I multiply by hundreds, then I'm going to get thousands. So you can see that I have tenths times hundreds. So that means my solution will have thousands. Well, where would the thousands place be? Between the 1 and the 7. Let's see what I got on my calculator. 2,401 and 794 thousandths. Great job, everybody. Now we go to division. A little trickier, but it's exactly the same. As long as you know where to put your decimals, as when you did the whole numbers on NS2. So let's look at this for a second. I have 581 and 10 hundredths, divided by 6 and 5/10. I have that loaded in the calculator for you. Now, the problem is I want to always divide by a whole number. So what should I do? Well, I'm going to rewrite this problem for you. I'm going to rewrite it vertically, 581 and 10 hundredths divided by 6 and 5 tenths. I want 6 and 5 tenths to be a whole number, 65. What should I do? Well, I'm actually multiplying by 10 divided by 10, which is the number 1. And you can see that now I have 5,811. And in the denominator, I have 65. So my new divisor is 65. All right, so let's look at that. I'm going to move that decimal so that it's 65. Now I'm going to leave it there. You don't have to, but I'm going to leave it there just for demonstration purposes. And I have to do exactly the same thing here. And I'm going to place the decimal or my quotient in the same place as my dividend. And now we're ready to rock and roll. Again, this is like 6NS2. I'm going to take 65 times 2. That is doubling 65, so that's 130. 65 times 4 is doubling that number, so double 130 is 260. This is a great strategy for getting a few of them down. 65 times 8 is doubling to 260, which is 520, and 65 times 10 equals 650. Now I'm going through all of the division, and I have 8, so 8 times 65, again, I'm going to place my zeros for placeholders. 520, place my zeros. When I subtract, I'm not going to pay attention to my decimal right this minute. Because I've already placed it in my quotient. 611, if you look, now I'll place my zero. If you look for 611, it should be somewhere between 8 and 10. So I'm going to add 65 to 520. I get 585. So indeed, that's 9. 9 times 65 is 585. When I subtract, I get 260. 260. 65 divided by 260, that is 4. If you notice that my answer is 89 and 4 tenths. Let's see what my calculator gave me. 89 and 4 tenths. Woohoo! We're ready to rock and roll. This has been Math in a Minute or Two coming at you from Kids First Education. For more Math in a Minute videos, visit our website at www.kidsfirst.llc. Kids first, always.